band hall at Commerce High School. When I look around, the room is full of awards and accolades. But what we're here really to talk about today is the people that put all the effort and the love into our kids and our band program to make it great. We are actually going to the State Marching Band Contest next week, so it's a great time to be talking about band. But as I look around the room, I see some of the signs. Consistency, it transforms average into excellence. You can have results or excuses, not both. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And I'm going to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves in just a second. But I will say this band program, it started in the middle with Jason and Kara Wallace. How long have y'all actually been in Commerce?
This is our 9th year.
9 years. And to me, it seems like yesterday we were all in here knocking the dust off everything in this band room 9 years ago when I was a high school principal. Our new motto for our district is inspiring excellence, and one thing I can say about this band program and all these people is they inspire excellence. When you go to hear our band, it sounds excellent, it looks excellent. And so I'm going to give each one of them, we're going to start with an opportunity for them to introduce themselves and just talk of, as long as you want to, about your role here, what you do, the kids that you work with. So we'll start right down here on the end.
My name's Monica Ward. I'm the assistant middle school director. Mostly I'm working with the middle school woodwind students, but I see all of our middle school kids. I get to work with the high school students, a lot of our woodwind people, and get to help with our marching people, a lot of our feet work and everything. But our kids, they're so special, and I love working with them every single day because they're just so excited, and it's something new every single day. So it's a blessing to be here in Commerce.
Hello, my name's Ty Bennett. First year teacher here in Commerce, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. The kids, they're looking to be better, and I'm glad that, I can provide that experience for them and give them a taste of what it's like to be at the next level. I'm in charge of high school and middle school percussion.
I'm Jason Wallace. I'm the head middle school director, and obviously I'm in charge of the middle school bands, and so I direct the honors band over there and the brass beginning classes that we have, and at the high school I do a lot to help all the students over here as far as playing better and try to pitch in wherever I can on the marching field. Anything related to props, trailers, and that kind of maintenance type stuff also falls on my shoulders. And I need to tighten up nuts and bolts on frames for percussion equipment. It's like, hey, where's Jason? So I'm happy to fill that role, and it keeps things interesting, and it's a lot of fun.
Hi there, my name's Kara Wallace. I am Director Bands and Fine Arts Director for the district. So I have not only the opportunity to work with the high school and the middle school for the band program 6 through 12, but I get to also work with pre-K to 12 with our art department, our theater department, elementary music and elementary art. It's really exciting to be able to expand outside of our band halls and help all of our students just find their niche and everything. So it's really neat. And I love it.
My name is Parker Snell. I am the associate band director at Commerce High School, and I focus primarily on the marching band right now. I've been running rehearsals, planning rehearsals, and teaching the drill and helping coordinate music and all that kind of thing. I also assist at the middle school, help out with the brass classes primarily, as well as the honors and symphonic band rehearsals. But my main focus right now has been marching band, especially now that we're in the end of our competition season, just making that last push into the state marching contest next week.
When you say drill, for those of us who might not have grown up in the band world, just elaborate there on what you're referring to when you say working on the drill.
Sure. So the drill relates to the visual movements. So they play and move on the field at the same time. So the drill is their visual movements that can be just marching technique. That can also include choreography because they do some dance style movements. So kind of putting all of that stuff together while they're playing on the field.
And I've noticed this year in our performance, it seems like we have more different types of movements from some of our band members, some dance type moves, and I think it's really added to that. Has that kind of been your style in the past, or is that something that maybe you've expanded upon since you came to Commerce?
Well, teaching visual is something I've done in the past before, but in the competitive aspect of marching band, adding dance elements to the woodwinds and brass members, that's how at an adjudicating level, that's where you get more credit and more points so that you can get a higher score. The judges are looking for diversity in the types of visuals that you do, the different types of techniques that you have, because visual is about 40% of your total overall score. So it's a huge impact to have variety in what you do.
Thank you.
I'm Robert Schmidt. I'm the color guard director for Commerce ISD. I teach both here at the middle school and the high school, or here at the high school and the middle school. And I assist in all visual aspects for the marching season, making sure that if it's in our visual caption, that I can be able to point it out. This is my 5th year here in Commerce ISD, and it's been a blessing to work with such an insightful staff that have been able to allow this program to grow, and be a part of that experience is just priceless. And so as we go into the last week of our competitive season for marching, we're looking to really see if we can make some history happen here. History that hadn't happened since 1988, if I'm correct. And see if we can get our final placement in those finals rounds. After the fall semester, I start working with the color guard for the spring semester in the winter guard realm, which is very similar to marching band. Just imagine the visual, the drill, the color guard, everything that you'd see in a marching show, but instead of a football field, it's in a gym and there's no band members. It's all completely color guard focused. So I'm blessed to be able to have the opportunity to be backed and choreograph, design, and write those shows again for a 5th year now, and we'll see where we can go with that.
When you were in high school, did you participate in color guard and those type things? Because when I've seen you out with the kids, I've noticed that you have the incredible ability to catch things fall out of the sky.
Yes, sir.
And when I've tried to do that in the gym, I could never even get the thing to flip over one time. The flag is not a thing. Mm-hmm. So I guess you have a lot of experience in that. And then how long does it take a student really to become proficient on something like that, and catching a flag or a rifle, or throwing a ball up and doing a flip and then catching it? How long does that take as far as amount of time?
Case by case basis. I'd say, you have your prodigy students that are capable of doing that within their first season, which, is anywhere from 8 to 16 weeks. But then you have your students that maybe join in a little bit later, perhaps 11th or 12th grade, and they might not be so familiar with it. So, and I'm glad you asked that, because we actually allow our middle school students to participate within the high school competitive programs. And I think this is our 4th consecutive year that we've had 8th graders competing with high schoolers in our marching band and our winter guard.
Okay. Let's pass the mic down to Mr. Bennett. And I just want to ask you a kind of a similar question. Did you grow up, or in high school, were you in the percussion world?
Yes, sir.
Because I've always thought the drum line was the coolest part of the band. So did you kind of come up in that? And same type question, how long does it take our students to really become proficient at that? And I've seen some of them that play multiple instruments at one time with 2 hands. Mm-hmm. So kind of just talk about kind of what he did as far as the flags to the percussion.
So in percussion, we have 2 big groups. We have the drum line and we have the front ensemble. In the front ensemble, you're going to find all the colorful instruments like the xylophone, marimba, vibraphone, and you're going to find some sort of accessories like shaker, triangle, bass drum and gong and stuff like that. And then, of course, everybody knows the drum line. You got the marching bass drums, and you have the snare drums and the tenors or quads. To get some developmental skills, it also depends on the level of the music. Sometimes the music is just some basic rhythms, and the students just need to know how to hold a stick correctly, okay, make sure we have our flat hands, use our wrists and stuff like that. And just doing that over and over again, it will take a lot less time than spinning a flag. So, in percussion round, that's literally all we do. We turn on the metronome, and we just do the same motion every time. And what's funny is during my undergrad, one of my professors is really big on, muscle health and stuff like that. And one of the things that was told to me is like, think about how many times percussionists do this in one day. It's probably close to 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 million reps of just this probably take 2 to 3 weeks maybe just to get some sort of technique or whatever fundamental skill that we need for the level of the show music.
Okay. And I'm going to finish up right down there on the end. When I walked through the middle school the other day, I noticed you were kind of had a group, it looked like, of about 12 to 15 just working on, I'm guessing, just techniques and improving their playing. So what's your personal background to be able to teach younger band students how to do that correctly?
Well, personal background, when I was student teaching during college, I worked a lot with middle school students, just teaching them just basic rhythms. And I hear a lot that I see a lot of students that we're just missing the rhythms, and band is everything about rhythm and finding that spot. And so we just spend a lot of time. It's like, okay, find your spot. This is your rhythm. This is your beat. And we had to just doing it over and over and over again. And we were able to get to that spot with familiarity with them. And the woodwinds, it's a lot of just they're still new. Mm-hmm. So those kids that I have in there are still, they're 7th graders, and a lot of them they're still haven't grasped the transition from beginner band to full band. So now listening to sounds from other instruments is still a little confusing. So we're just trying to, like, hey, they're going to play different things, you're going to play different things. You have to listen to your section.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the patience that I saw when I was in there the other day that you exhibited to the students. So I admire that, and I know you're growing our kids. And at this point, I'm just going to talk to the middle 3 for a little bit longer, let the rest of these guys get back to work, and I appreciate y'all and sharing time with us today. So we'll take a pause right there, and we'll come back with Parker, Kara, and Jason only. All right, thanks, guys. I've kind of shortened the room down a little bit to just talk to kind of the true leadership of the band and the leadership of our fine arts program, and I want to talk a little bit about the dynamics of how these 3 people work together. I kind of find that interesting. I'm kind of related to principals, assistant principals, kind of how the whole dynamics work. And I've always been interested in the dynamics between the 2 of you guys. I've been to the Dallas Symphony Orchestra, and I've seen Mr. Wallace perform there, a world-class musician. I'll ask you to start. How is it being husband and wife and sharing the roles that y'all have? How do y'all make that work? Because I've never seen cross words between you 2, but it's never easy to work with your spouse. So kind of elaborate on that if you would. I know that's a pretty in-depth question.
Yeah, and probably treacherous territory too, potentially, right? It's like where to start with that. I think, first of all, when we first came here, I just always think back to that and what a blessing it was that Kara and I ended up here. Our daughter goes to school here, and and what we were doing before that. You know, she was working at a different high school. I was working at another middle school, and it's like we get up in the morning on weekdays, and she'd go to her school, and I'd go to my school and drop off our daughter at daycare on the way, and you know, that's 6:30 in the morning, and then, you know, the end of the school day, we're rushing back to make sure we picked up Grace by 6:30, and it was like we hardly saw each other, you know. And that was just the way life was, and it's just kind of like, you know, that's what you do. So when this opportunity came up, you know, it was exciting, and I have to say that if I had to do it over again, I wouldn't change a thing. Now I'd be lying if I say that there weren't times when, you know, when things get a little bit tense about, well, why are we doing this? Well, why are you doing that? And, you know, have you done this yet? I mean, all that kind of thing happens, I think, naturally in any work environment. And, you know, but I mean, she's just amazing to work with and puts up with me. I'll just say that, you know. And, but it's been fun to watch her grow over this past 8 years. I mean, she said 9. I can't believe it's 9.
We're in 9.
Okay, it seems, yeah. But I mean, she's just done amazing things, and been working really hard. She just never gives up, never stops working, and it's been just amazing just watching her do that, and just seeing my respect grow for her even more than it ever was, you know. And but it's amazing. It's incredible. It's not always easy, but you know, we're always here to do what's in the best interest of our kids.
Right.
And do, you know, all these kids here, they deserve the best instruction that they can possibly get, just like any other student anywhere else. And we just, you know, I don't think I've ever seen anybody work harder and do more for kids than my wife.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think, you know, it's a very humble answer by you, Mr. Wallace, because you've been down there at the middle school level. You don't have great high school programs unless you have great middle school programs. And when I went to the Mesquite, to the marching competition the other day, everything was over. Miss Wallace went up to get the results, and I saw Mr. Wallace out there loading things, strapping it all down on the trailers, workhorse. I would have never figured out how to either get that all on the trailer, manufacture all that stuff. So not only a very talented musician, but a mechanical engineering wonder as far as getting us there. And I really, just the other day, it's really the first time I saw that loading, unloading process, and kind of gave me a little more appreciation for everything. But if you want to pass that to Miss Wallace.
Absolutely.
The question I would have for you is, you know, when you came here 9 years ago, I'm sure you had a vision of what you wanted the future to look like. I've actually been privy to times when you handed me that on a piece of paper, and I really think we've got a great chance of getting in that top 10 at state this year. So just kind of talk a little bit, I guess, about the ride or the journey to get from where you were and where we were when you got here to where we are now.
Yeah, absolutely. The first day, well, when we walked through the school, I was very excited. And the first day of summer band, because band doesn't start the first day of school. We start in July. And I remember that very first day, and it was exciting. We had kids there that wanted to learn, that wanted to be there. And I was excited to be the one to ignite those fires and everything. And over the years, this is year 23 for me in teaching. I have found that building the individual in not only confidence but ability is what builds the whole. And so the band is great because the individuals are working hard. And what I'm proud to say is that every individual in the band can play their instrument. Some can play very well, and some can play. They can play well. Mm-hmm. You know, they can go out and do that. And what we've done just over the years, like we've worked with the university. We have a work study program where future educators come here and they get paid by the university to be a part of this. We do all region where students participate with they perform on 2 different etudes and scales, and they have to do it by themselves. And playing is by yourself is scary. And what they learn here is the ability that there will be some failures in life, but there's success after those failures. And so just every year we've grown. We've had an all-state student every year since I've been here. And that has been a core example for others. Like right now, there's a class happening in this band hall, but they're all separated and they're working on all region music right now because they want to make the all-state band. And then we have UIL Soul and Ensemble that kids participate in. And we've had outstanding performers like this past year. Victor Velez was deemed medaled an all-state performer in all of Texas. And that's pretty amazing. So
It's very hard to do.
it's very hard to
He's
do.
incredible,
Yeah.
incredible musician.
And so finding opportunities for kids to play, but not only play, but you can't limit yourself. Sometimes you just think, oh, I can only get first chair. Well, you may only get first chair here, but you could go play in the Greater Dallas Youth Orchestra in Dallas, or you can play with the Lone Star Winds, or you could be in the All-State Band. And so providing students with those opportunities to see that this is not the only place for success is in these walls, that it's outside of it, that's my drive. And sometimes that's really hard for kids. And that's okay because they get to still have that experience of seeing what maybe difficulty or hard is.
Sure.
So,
If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you.
no, it's true.
Right?
Yeah. But we do it with kindness and with grace and with patience, because what we ask is, what the easy part is the repetition, like what Mr. Bennett was talking about. So,
Okay. Thank you. If you want to pass that over to Mr. Parker Snell. Remember our first day when we got together this year, the guy pulled everybody up on stage and you were a natural performer. I knew right then. Well, we've got kind of another different band director guy, and it's going to be interesting, fun. I think you have to have that to be successful with kids. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, and if you would too, just kind of share about the partnership working with these two guys and how they're growing you as well.
Absolutely. This is my 5th year teaching. I've taught in a different state, and I've also taught in a different district in Texas. So, but I've just so far, I've had an extremely positive experience with the staff and the students. It's also taught me a lot about how to teach, because this is my first time essentially running marching band rehearsals. Mrs. Wallace was very, here you go. She just handed me the keys to the car and just let me go. And I've taken that in stride, and I feel like we work really well together. I think this whole staff works extremely well together, communication, and we just have very cohesive personalities. But kind of going back to the fun aspect, part of the reason why I still do band today is because I've always had fun doing band. Even in the mundane things like repetitions, practicing on my own for hours and hours and hours. Because I have a master's degree in tuba performance. I had to spend so many hours in the practice room getting ready for my performances, and I still find enjoyment in doing that. So just trying to remind myself that band is fun, and trying to instill that into the students that band is fun. We want to have fun while we do it. I tell them before they do every single show, focus on your details. You have a job to do, and let's have fun. Those are my 3 big things that I tell them before every time they perform. So,
Thank you. How many minutes are we in?
25.
Okay.
But I mean, I left it running, so probably about 20.
Okay. You can condense it a little bit if you want to.
Okay.
I'm trying to just think of, I want to y'all.
Are we keeping this in here? Are we keeping
No,
it?
this won't stay in here.
Y'all said something really neat about, to me, it was Grace.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember when she was just a little bitty kid. Now she's
She's a sophomore now.
up there being
Drum
a
major.
leader of the band. So if you kind of share the mic, kind of just go back and forth just for 1 minute maybe on what it's been like watching your
Easy.
watching your own child
Yeah,
come up through the band, the challenges in that as well.
yeah.
I mean, I've coached my own kids. I know that can be kind of difficult.
It can be.
So talk about that just a little bit if you would, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, I was worried about it a lot. She wasn't gonna have a choice. She had to be in band.
Sure.
Like that was decided, and she's great. So she was like, okay. She didn't push back on it. She was allowed to do other things too, but having her in our band program, first of all, I was just like, I don't want to mess this up.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
So how do I? It's like I got to get my hands out of the cookie jar sometimes, and I got to know when to step back and let other people, teach her.
Sure.
And so when she did beginning band, she was in our assistant band director's flute class at the time, Sydney Cohen. And I thought that was best, particularly just based on where Grace was at that time with her personality and sort of like our relationship, which is excellent. But just having her, just our relationship really developed in that way, in a way that I don't think it ever would have had she been at another school. And so when I talked about how grateful I am to have had that time with my daughter, I think, I don't think I can overstate that, honestly, because she's, I've learned so much about what an incredible person she is. I've been able to be a part of that to a certain degree, I would like to think. She's a very hard worker. She's got a lot of grit, and just, I don't think I would have learned quite as many things about my daughter and her personality and her strengths and her intelligence had she not gone through our band program.
Sure. All right, Mom, if you want to share for just a second.
Yeah, just a second. So my daughter is the drum major, and watching her up on that podium is incredible because there are days where she's fearless. She's a fantastic leader. She asks about how she can be better. We started her in piano in 3rd grade, then lessons at the university, and she's just grown up into an amazing young lady. And I feel like possibilities are endless, and it couldn't have been done without being here. So thanks for hiring me.
You bet. It was a great move for me personally and the district.
Yeah.
And our kids. Like I said, excellence occurs here and everywhere we go. And I appreciate you, Mr. Parker Snell, Ms. Kara Wallace, Mr. Jason Wallace, the other 3 members of your team that we had in here. I can't wait to go down to San Antonio next week, watch you guys get after it out there, and I've got a feeling we're going to do something special. Go Tigers.